The next station is Commercial Broadway. Doors will open on the left.
We need some sort of distraction for everybody. Anything new on YouTube?
We're back in the office, and there's a lot of new updates since my last video. There was an earthquake in Vancouver.
The 5.1 magnitude earthquake has hit the south coast this afternoon. Emergency Info BC says it hit near Seashelt at 1:26 this afternoon.
First, I was like, why is my desk shaking? And then I look at my coworker, they were shaking too. And then I realized, oh, this is an earthquake. What was funny to me is that nobody got under their desk. Is that not what we did in elementary school?
My job is to scroll through this spreadsheet and look for numbers that are scary.
It sounds dumb, and Mark said it dumb.
People always talk about software engineering like it's a super chill, work from anywhere kind of job. But what is it actually like day to day? Today, I'm showing you a real day in the life as a software engineer at Amazon. And if you stay till the end of the video, I'll share with you how to improve your own resume so you can land your very own software position.
Back to work, slackers. Price care.
Today, I'm actually on call, and this is going to be my 4th on-call shift. I'm definitely not an expert, but I'm getting the hang of it. Apart from getting paged in the middle of REM sleep, I actually kind of enjoy being on call. I like to be able to solve problems and sometimes come up with solutions. I say sometimes because oftentimes the error is transient or it's a part of another team's issues, and that can be kind of hard to solve. Here's something that I didn't quite expect when I became a software engineer. Sometimes you think you'll always be creating some new service or a new feature, but a lot of the time you're just fixing something broken or upgrading an old service or fixing bugs or addressing some security risks. This type of work is not the most interesting at times and also doesn't look that great on a resume, but it is one of those tasks you just need to do. For me, I'm definitely happy doing it all because I love getting the new experience, but it also really helps your team because it decreases the strain during your on-call shifts because you're fixing problems that you might get paged about. So for lunch today, I'm getting a quick bite to eat at this cafe near my office. And also while I was here, I picked up a croissant for my friend Marlene because it was her birthday today. The sandwich I got today was their mortadella croissant sandwich. It was so delicious. The croissant was so flaky, and I really liked the kick from the Dijon mustard.
I am jetting off on an international business trip.
Where are you going?
To Canada.
Where is it?
Canada.
Okay.
Our team is a lot bigger now. The office feels a lot more full, which is fun. It's just nice to be able to see more faces. I'm working on some more migration research. The service that we're using, are they ready for us to migrate as well? Kind of what I'm doing is a lot of investigation. I actually kind of like it because I feel like a bit of a detective. I'm just like looking for clues, talking to people, asking questions. And also later today, I have a one-on-one meeting with my manager. Usually I don't really have too much to talk about, but I think today I have a little bit of things to talk about. I just want to see what the direction of my plan is going, like if I'd be working on more projects later on. I don't have these very frequently. I have these like every other week. I feel like I need to come with topics that I need to present because this is a time that I can voice my opinions. Let me know what you guys do for your one-on-one meetings with your manager.
I understand you're confused about the severance procedure. Before we hop on that, let's chat about something I bet you have heard of, the work-life balance.
I did see an interesting comment the other day. It was, if you're expected to work from anywhere while you're on call, why is the expectation different from when you're off call? And that did make me think a little bit. Also, I do reply to every single comment. Our team is currently dealing with a pretty heavy on-call shift. I got paged like 6 or 7 times over the weekend, so we're really prioritizing fixing some of our older services. Most of us aren't working on the newest exciting project. When you're a software engineer, sometimes you think you'll always be creating some new service or a new feature, but a lot of the times you just fix something broken. I wish I was outside. I wish I was one of those birds just flying around. I've been making these really yummy fruit smoothies. I find that if I have a really big like carb filled lunch. I will get so tired at 2 p.m. But when I just make these smoothies, I feel like I can last throughout the day a lot better and more energized. Today we had a team meeting with my skip manager. One of the things that we brought up, we hadn't had a team event since I joined. These are the suggestions. People want to do go-karting, paintballing, bowling, escape room. I want to do like a cooking class or latte art. We're probably gonna go paintballing or maybe escape room, but paintballing sounds absolutely atrocious. I'm not gonna lie. The last time I played paintball was like when I was in high school, and I had like big welts on me for an entire week. It was not good. So hopefully we don't do that, even though it's got the most votes. And then I also organized a reoccurring like board game event for our team because we don't really hang out outside of work, which I'm not sure if a lot of people do, but I need board game suggestions. Like, I love games, just don't really know how to play with like 7 or 8 people. So leave your board game suggestions down below, or any games. My previous team was like really tight and really close. They were all like really friendly with each other. I feel like it's really interesting because every team has a different sort of dynamic. But yeah, apart from that, today I actually am on call, so I have a bit of tickets to look through. I got paged this morning at 5 a.m., which is why I am just so dead. Like, I'm so dead. Also, check out this view. It's so pretty. Look at it. Vancouver is a really moody city because of all the rain, and it reflects on the people. But when it's sunny, everyone's outside and everyone's having a good time.
Sometimes I'll start a sentence and I don't even know where it's going. I just hope I find it along the way.
In my last on-call video, I got asked a lot of questions about what it's like being on call at Amazon. And one of those questions was, what happens when you can't fix the problem that you got when you're paged? First, I'll see if there's any documentation or a run book that you can follow through and work out the problem step by step. If there isn't any, I'll look through all the resolved tickets and see if there are any same or similar ticket to the one I'm looking at, and read through their comments and see how the previous engineer solved it. And lastly, I'll ask someone through Slack or bring it up in the next stand-up meeting. So you definitely don't have to worry if you can't figure out how to solve an on-call problem right away. After reading some of the comments from that video, I realized that feeling stressed or anxious during your on-call shift because you might be nervous about getting paged is a really normal feeling. I actually found a way for me to feel a little less anxious during these on-call weeks. I tell myself that whatever problem comes up, I will find a way to figure it out. And since I've seen a lot of the problems already because I've solved it once before, I can solve it again.
I knew exactly what to do, but in a much more real sense, I had no idea what to do.
Okay, it's the week of my birthday, so I made a reservation to one of my favorite Japanese restaurants, Reisu. I just love the vibes here. I love Japanese food, and one thing Vancouver is good at, apart from raining a ton, is having some good Japanese food. I'm actually going to Tokyo in a couple months from now, and I'm so excited to eat my heart out and buy some new gadgets. I'm also really curious to see how Vancouver's Japanese food compares. So definitely subscribe and stay tuned for my future work vlogs. I'll also be visiting the Amazon offices in Toronto very soon and checking out the city. So I have 2 resumes here that were sent to this email, and I'll be reviewing them. And these might not be your resumes, but the advice I'm giving is very general advice that you can apply to your own resume and take a look at and edit. This first resume here we're looking at, let's call them Heli R. Right off the bat, they have 1 internship and also several projects, and their projects are full stack development projects, so great experience overall. And also, getting your first internship means that getting your next ones is going to be a lot easier. My first piece of advice is quality over quantity. Heli R has 9 projects listed, and I would recommend just having 3 or 4 really solid projects, and you'll just dwindle them down as you add more experience. I think project number 7, where you developed a Chrome extension, isn't a very useful project to include. You could save that space there and expand more on your project number 9, which is a hackathon. And personally, if you have a hackathon under your belt, you know it's a kind of a unique experience. You get to work with other people, you get to design something from scratch, and you have a very tight deadline and how you had to meet it. There's a lot of points that you can talk about your own contribution to this project, how you designed it, how you came up with this user need, and maybe the result and the impact of your project. My next point is to be specific. So if you look at Helly Art Experience, they have a point where they say provided development support to the lead UI developer on a project. That's pretty vague. It's going to be assumed that you provided development support because you're a web developer. So for every one of your points, it can be very helpful to remember to answer these 3 questions. What did you do? What did you use? Like what languages did you use? What tools did you use? And what impact did it have? That'll be good to make sure that all your points are very specific and straight to the point. All right, that was Helly R's resume. We'll be moving on to Mark Scout. My advice for them is to do with the formatting. You want to use proper ATS formatting. ATS is an applicant tracking system, and this is basically how companies filter through thousands of resumes for a job application. They'll basically scan all the resumes and give it a percentage based on how well it matches the job posting. And if you don't meet some sort of threshold, I don't know what it is, it's not going to be read by a human. And that's why proper formatting is super important, because if your resume cannot even be read by a computer, it's most definitely not going to be read by a human. To help with that, we want to make it as easy as possible for a computer to read it. And that is to use probably 1 column instead of having 2, not any fancy fonts, and also making sure everything is readable by text. Like Mark's section here with the languages and the blue bar, that's not really translatable into text. There's a template that I use and a lot of people use as well that is pretty sure it's going to be scanned by a computer well, and that is Jake's resume. I'll link it down below if you want to check it out. My second point for Mark S is to remove the redundancy. A resume is really only 1 page, and you're putting your whole self into it. You're advocating for yourself as to why you should be a good person for this job, and you want to optimize it as best as possible and include the best information as you can and remove anything that isn't necessary. So for Mark S here, they have a summary section, and I actually used to have a objective and summary section on my resume where I said like, I am so passionate about this and I love all these hobbies, blah, blah, blah. That's not really useful. People can assume that you are passionate about software development because of all your experience that you've written about, and you have a computer science degree, and a list goes on. You don't really need the summary section. Mark has 2 schools listed here. They only really need 1. That will just save a lot more space, and space is valuable when your resume is only 1 page. Thank you so much to Helly R and Mark S for sending me their resume. If you want your resume read in the next video, send it to this email. And if you have any resume advice, because I am not an expert, please leave it down below. I'd love to read it, and I'd love to hear what you have to think. All right, that's enough of HR Sarah. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.